So today I want to talk about the movie Inception. If you haven't seen it already, run, don't walk. If it's out in theaters still, see it in IMAX if you can. 12,000 watts of crushingly powerful surround sound. Very, very cool. But the thing that's most cool about Inception for me is it is representative of a new kind of consciousness that is really spreading virally through our species. Uh, Computers are teaching us to architect the way that we think about things. We didn't think in folders particularly before we had computers, but now oh well, here's my work folder, and inside of the work folder there's this particular client folder, and in that particular client folder there's January, and then inside of January there's my Word doc, and there's an Excel spreadsheet, and there's a presentation I'm putting together for them, whatever it is. So we're learning to put folders inside of folders inside of folders with information inside of them. That's a new part of how humans are going to be operating for a while. It's a new kind of consciousness that we're evolving into. And behavioral software is another version of that. Actually, when I was watching Inception, I was reminded of the new version of behavioral software that we're working on right now. Because of the architecture of it, because of the way that he is forcing you to experience your own consciousness to make sense of what's going on in the story. And what he's doing is he's putting realities inside of realities to the point where you're not even sure what level you're on. And that's a complex kind of thinking. I would go as far as to say that watching that movie, to understand it, if you actually go for the ride, it will make you smarter. Particularly when you do that in conjunction with, the Reality Bender install, with using your computer, with all of these different activities that are engaging you and forcing you to think in more complex ways. Right now we're still using two-dimensional desktops and operating systems, but things are going to be changing vastly when three-dimensional operating systems come out. And I'm not talking about your human operating system. I'm talking about a computer where your folders aren't just, here's my screen and here's folders, but there's dimension to them as well. There's a third dimension where you can put things far away or closer in. Thinking like that, thinking in three dimensions, is a much more sophisticated way of thinking. I don't use two dimensions in my mind when I think about things. I create full-blown memory palaces. Why not? I want to be able to walk through my thoughts. I want them to be opaque. I want them to be stunning and visceral because it makes it easier to remember. It makes it more powerful. And that complexity of architecture makes my experience of reality all the more rich. So go. Check it out. Check out Inception. Allow it to make you smarter. Allow yourself to feel what he's doing, because he's a new kind of artist. He's on the front lines of the future evolution of our species. Evolution only happens when we're forced to evolve. That's how it occurs. And he's doing it in an artistic sense. He's really like taking you through a story that makes you unsure of which level of reality you're on, which is a phenomenal way to put someone in a profound trance where the impossible becomes possible. Not only that, he's doing some cool stuff in there, because the way to get out of one level of dream and go to the next is that you have to die. What's cool about that is the Tibetans have been using this practice for years, for centuries. They're talking about different levels of reality and being able to maintain awareness from one level to the next. They're saying that being awake is one state of reality. Dreaming is a different state of reality. Deep, dreamless sleep is yet another state. And then there's a state that's so deep that it can be aware and maintain awareness as it moves from waking to dreamless sleep. And that's how deep, how fundamental of a conscious awareness it is. And that's a state that each and every one of us can achieve just by knowing that it's there and beginning to commit to having access to that kind of state. This is a deep version of the default. You have to go way, way deep to be able to maintain awareness as you move from just waking to sleeping, waking to dreaming. Right? And then one of the practices that the Tibetans use, they say if you want to practice, killing off your ego, or if you want to practice preparing for movement out of this life into whatever comes next, go into your dreams and practice dying. And that's something that they show you in Inception, which is cool. He doesn't point it out, he doesn't talk about it, but it's a neat thing that he's doing. Anyway, I enjoyed the movie. Christopher Nolan's one of my favorite directors. I loved The Prestige, Memento, really cool. Dark Knight, obviously, amazing. Like all of them are really cool. I always look forward to his stuff. This was, it had the mind-bending aspect of Memento crossed with the high production value and quality of Dark Knight, and it really hit it out of the park for me. So check it out. Go open Network 6 of your brain and experience the architecture of a new kind of art, and let me know what you think. I'm Devin White for Reality Bender.